Hi everyone, welcome back to GenAILearniverse. In our past episodes, we've explored various Hugging Face models and built some amazing projects to understand the mechanics of AI. Today marks a significant milestone in our journey as we're not just exploring, we're creating. Join us for this special episode as we embark on our very first generative AI project, transforming abstract ideas into stunning visuals right before your eyes. Many of you have seen tools online that transform text into breathtaking images, but often these come with hefty fees or strict usage limits. What if I told you that today, we're launching our very own AI-powered image generator that allows you to create unlimited visuals absolutely free? Starting today and over the next few videos, we'll dive deep into various image generation models and techniques, including the use of LoRAs and diverse styling approaches to spark your creativity and enable you to produce stunning visuals. Utilizing platforms such as Hugging Face, OpenAI, Civit AI, and Shaker AI, we'll harness a combination of open source and proprietary models to create captivating images that inspire. This series will guide you step by step through a multitude of projects, from crafting personalized coloring books and unique stickers to designing professional logos and even piecing together interactive storybooks. So, whether you're aiming to elevate your creative projects or enhance your technical capabilities, this series is designed to deliver invaluable insights and skills to everyone. By the end of this video, you'll have the skills to create your very own app, a powerful tool that transforms simple text into breathtaking images. Imagine, the only limit to being an artist is your imagination. So, let's unleash your creativity and see where it can take you.
So let's get started. I'll first open my PyCharm. So I'll open it as administrator. Now I'm going to create a new folder because this time we are going to work on a new kind of project, that is image generation. So I'll just click on new and then directory, and I'll give it a name as image generation. Okay, and I'm going to add a new file, new Python file. I'll give it a name as image generation using SD3. Okay, and for this particular case, the model that we are going to use is the latest model, stability diffusion latest model that was released this month only, around 12th of June I believe. So you need to go to text to image, and then this is the model Stability AI Stable Diffusion 3 medium. So if you click here, I have a different screen, but you might have some different screen where it will ask you to first enter your username and email ID. As soon as you provide email ID as well as your name, it will show you this interface. Okay, so in our previous projects we have been using transformers, but for image processing or image generation there is another library that has been provided by Hugging Face. We call it as diffusers. So for this particular project we are going to use this model. Okay, so let's go back to our code file. So here you see that if I'll click on diffusers, this is the code that it is giving, but right now it is giving diffuser pipeline. We are not going to use that. We are going to use stable diffusion 3 pipeline. So let me show you how we can do that. So I'll go to my code file and I'll import some of the libraries. So I'll import Gradio as gr. I'll import torch, and so the last one that we are going to use is from diffusers import, and this time, as I mentioned, we are not going to use stable the pipeline that we just showed, right? This one we are not going to use. We are going to use stable diffusion 3 pipeline. So stable okay, as you can see, I do not have that stable diffusion 3 pipeline because, as I mentioned, this model was released recently, and that's why there were some changes that happened in diffusion library. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to first upgrade our diffuser library. And how we can do that? We'll just right click on this project. I'll go to open in and then terminal. Okay, and then in terminal what I'm going to do is I'll write pip install dash dash upgrade and then diffusers. Okay, I'll press enter. It will upgrade the diffuser library that we have. So let's wait for this to be finished. So my library has been upgraded. Now let's try whether I'm able to get that stable diffusion 3 pipeline or not. So as you can see, now I am able to see a stable diffuser 3 pipeline. So this is what we are going to use in our project. Now, as we have been doing in our previous project, let's start writing our code. So first thing what I'm going to do, and now since we are working on generative AI and these models are very big in size, so we'll also have to use CUDA. If you have GPU, then you should be using GPU, and if you have CPU, it would work, but it will take a lot of time to generate the image. For example, if in my case I have GPU, then in my case if it is taking 30 seconds to generate the image, might be in your case it might take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, depending upon the other configuration that you have on your machine, like CPU, memory, etc. Okay. So let me first start with defining a function. So I'll give it a name as image generation. Okay, and first of all I'll try to find out what kind of device I have. So I'll mention CUDA. If I have CUDA, if torch dot CUDA dot is available. So what I'm saying is device type should be set as CUDA if it is I have CUDA available, else it should be CPU. Okay, so it's a simple kind of code that I have written just to identify the device. Perfect. So next what I'm going to do is I'll be calling that pipeline. So let me copy this code from here. I'll copy it and then I'll paste it. This line I do not need. And as I mentioned, this time we are not using diffuser pipeline, we are using a stable diffusion 3 pipeline, so I'll mention it here. Along with that, we also need to define the torch type, right? So for that I'll be using torch d type is equal to torch dot float 16 if device is equal to CUDA, right? Else torch dot float 32. So if you have CPU, it will be using float 32. If you are GPU, it will be using float 16. And I already have explained torch d type in my previous project, so I'm not going to explain it again. Okay, so now let me complete some of the things again. So now my code has been added. Now there's one parameter that we need to use. This parameter is pipeline dot enable model CPU offloading. So what it does is, this particular line, what it does, so basically if you have GPU, then what it does is, if you do not add this line, there is another line we can use, pipeline dot to and then device. So the difference between these two lines is, if I'll add this particular line, this will load my complete model into the GPU. Okay, and for this particular line, this is a line that basically optimize the resource uses. So if in case some part of a model is not being used, it will move that model to CPU. So in our case, just to make sure that since we have a limited resources, we are going to use the first line. Okay, so I'll comment the second one. Now actually I'm going to call this function. So image is equal to pipeline, and then inside this pipeline I am going to pass some of the parameters, and these parameters will be prompt is equal to the prompt that I'm going to pass from Gradio. So in that case I'll have to have this prompt input from here, and so prompt is equal to prompt. Then I'll be using negative prompt. Negative prompt is something that okay, let's understand what all these parameters are. Prompt means something, any natural language text that you are giving to the model, and basis that text the what kind of image you want to generate. So that is what we call it as prompt. Negative prompt is something that you do not want that you do not want to be there in your image. So for example, if you do not want to have any kind of, for example, blurred image, or you do not want to have any kind of any object that you do not want, you can mention over here. So for example, you do not want to have any dog in that image, you can mention dog. So the image that would be generated, this model will take care that that particular image there is no dog. Okay, so similarly, whatever item or property you do not want to have in particular in the image that you are generating, you can put that inside that negative prompt. So for now I am putting some of the things like blurred, ugly, watermark, right, low resolution. So I want all these parameters not to be there in my image. So I'm saying that it should not be of low resolution, it should not have any kind of watermark, it should not be blurred, right? So all these things I already have mentioned the negative parameter, right? Now there is another parameter, we call it as number of inferences, right? So for that num inference steps. So this is the number of steps we want the image to go through. So in most of the cases, if more the number of inference, the image quality is generally we get the better image quality. However, if you add more steps, then it will also utilize more resources. So we'll have to be kind of balanced when we are putting this number of inference step. So I'm putting 40 right now, and even you can play around with this one, you can play with these numbers, right? You can try with 30, you can try with 50, and see every time you will change the steps, your image will be kind of different. Sometimes it would be have some different styles, sometimes it would be in high resolution. So you can play around with these parameters. At high level, this is the kind of steps that model will take to generate your final image, right? And more the steps, more you will have better images, and but it will be it will take more resources as well. Then let me define height and width. So I'll put height is equal to 1000, then I'll put width is equal to 1024. even height also, let me put 1024. Okay, and finally I'll put guidance scale is equal to 9.0. So what is guidance scale? Guidance scale is a parameter that basically tells the model how much you should following the prompt. So if you give it generally varies from 1 to 10. If you give 10, it will be following your prompt completely. However, if you give the less guidance scale, means model will also utilize some of its creativity, randomness, and it might ignore some of your parameters that you have given in your prompt. So you, based on your need, you can play around with this one, and you will be quite excited. Sometimes the result that you will get even with the low guidance skill, sometimes you get a kind of awesome image that you might not have think about. So you should be playing around with all these parameters. Okay, and then I'll be doing images, and then 0. Okay, so this is how our, so I think I have added all my parameters, and then I'll put image dot show. Okay, But when I try to run this one, what will happen is this will take a lot of resources because the model size of SD3 model size is too big. It's around 16 GB, and then that's why it is going to take a lot of time. Even when I tried with my GPU, then also it was taking around 8 to 10 minutes to generate a single image. So for this particular project, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce two additional parameters, and what this parameter does is this will basically make sure that it removes some of the memory intensive parameter that is required for text encoding during inferences. So basically whatever parameter, I mean the parameter that it will remove is of 4.7 billion parameters. So ultimately it gives us kind of, it significantly decrease the memory requirements for SD3 models, and it doesn't impact the quality much. Obviously there would be a slightly loss in the performance, but overall you will be getting kind of a good image, but your resource utilization will be too good. So that's why I'll be introducing these two parameters. So let me do that. I'll be using text encoder 3 is equal to none, and then tokenizer underscore 3 is equal to none. Okay, perfect. So I think my code is ready. Let me try to run this code and see whether we are able to get the required result or not. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm calling this particular function, the function that we just wrote, image generation. I'm not integrating with Gradio. Let's first test it whether it is working fine or not, and then we will be integrated with Gradio. So I'll just enter the prompt, magician cat doing spell. Okay, and let's try to run it. Okay, so as you can see, I have got this error, client error request ID this. So for this particular model, as I explained earlier, when you go here, it will first ask you to provide your username and email ID. So basically to use this model, however, it is completely free to use, but you will have to authenticate first. You will have to tell this particular model that, okay, this you are the one who is kind of authorized to use this model, for which you already have provided the username and password. Okay, so how we can do that? To do that, you need to go to your Hugging Face. Okay, and then you will go to settings, and then access tokens. Here you will be creating a new token, and then you will give some name, you will give the right access, and you will click on generate a token, and it will give you a token that you will have to use in your project. Okay, so I already, as you can see, I already have two tokens here. So I am going to use one of these tokens for authenticating and then this will allow us to use this particular model. So it's simple. You will click on new token, just give any name, and then you will just select right, and you will click on generate a token. Or let me do that, maybe I'll just delete it afterward. So SD3 underscore new, this is the token that I have used. I'll use write and generate a token. This is the token that has been generated, so I'll copy this token. Then you will come back to your code, you will right click, and then you will open in terminal, and then you need to enter one command. So the command is Hugging Face CLI login. Okay, and I'll press enter, and as you can see, it is asking me to enter your token, and you will have to remember that you will not be able to type anything here. So what you need to do, you'll just right click
paste, nothing will change, nothing will appear over here. You will click enter. Okay, add token as get credential. For now I'll press enter. So as you can see, it is saying login successful. Okay, so you will also, if login is successful, then it means that now you should be authenticated to use this particular model. So let me try to run it again. Okay, let's see what went wrong. Okay, I got it. So here, as you can see right now, it's stability AI, stable diffusion 3 medium. However, it will not work. We'll also have to use diffusers. So the name of this particular file that we need to download is stable diffusion 3 medium diffusers. Okay, and also ideally this should not be the string, this should be none, and this should be none. Okay, and now let's try to run whether it is working fine or not. Okay, seems like it is working fine. So in my case, my model has already been downloaded. That's why it was kind of sooner. But when you will run on your machine first time, it will take some time at your end to download the model. And the model is too big. I mean, it's like 10 to 15 GB. So it will take some time for you to download it. But once it is downloaded, second time it will just start fetching it from cache. So you need not to download it again every time. Okay, so as you can see, my image has been generated, right, based on the prompt that I have given. Okay, so perfect. So seems like my code is working fine. Let me move ahead with the integration of the code with Gradio. Okay, so we have integrated all our previous project with Gradio. So I think if you are following that, you should have fair idea that how it will work. So I'll just type interface is equal to gr.interface, and this time, as you have seen, we need to pass our what I call it prompt, and then it will give us the image, right? So I'll first enter function is equal to image generation. Okay, then I'll enter input. Okay, so I have given lines is equal to placeholder is equal to enter your prompt. Similarly, the output that we are expecting would be pill image, right? So outputs is equal to gr.image, and then type is equal to pill. Okay, and then I'll be giving my title. So title of this project would be GenAILearniverse project 9, image creation using stable diffusion 3 model. Okay, and then description is equal to this application will be used to generate awesome images using SD3 model. Okay, perfect. So everything has been done, my code is done, and here I think I missed this one, and then I'll just dot launch,
and then my code should be ready, right? And rather than having, so my function is here, and I'll just, rather than image.show, I'll change it to return image. Okay, perfect. So I'll remove this one because this one is not required. So I have just commented this code, and now let's try to run it and let's see whether it is working fine, or in case we are facing any issue. If everything works fine, ideally it should give me a URL. Okay, there is something wrong. Okay, I think I have given it like this. Okay, seems like interface it should be capital I. So let me do that. And let me try to run it again. Okay, perfect. This time, as you can see, my URL has been generated. Let me click on this URL and let me type a prompt, magical cat doing spell. Okay, let's see. It will take some time. For me, it was taking around, I think, 30 to 40 seconds because I have GPU. But if you'll be running on CPU, if you have a CPU, then it will take longer for you to load. And even if you have very low configuration laptop or computer, it might not work for you. For that, I'll be creating some new another project, image generation project, using the model that is less in size, and then using that model you will be able to get or generate similar quality image but with less resources. So that's what would be the part of my upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Okay, as you can see, my beautiful image has been generated, and let me try some another prompt. So this is the another prompt that I am trying. Cat wizard, Lord of the Rings, detail, fantasy, cute, adorable, 3 pixel, Disney, 8K. So let's try to run it, and it should start running on my machine, as you can see. And right now we have given inference step as 40, that's why it will be iterating to 40. And as I mentioned, right, longer the steps, your image quality would be good, but it will take longer time, as well as will be utilize the resources more. So let's wait for this to complete, and then we should have our image generated, and let's see what kind of image it generates this time. And as you can see, a beautiful image got generated, right? Let me try with another prompt. This time I'm just trying wallpaper for the cottage. So you can try your anything, right? Whatever you want to generate, you can just prompt that, you can just type that in the prompt box, and it should be able to generate the similar image. We'll be utilizing SDXL in the upcoming videos. We'll be utilizing SD 1.5 and some other open source model. We'll also be using ChatGPT DALL-E 3 to generate some of the images in our upcoming videos. So you'll see that you will have flexibility to utilize any of the models that you want, right? And as you can see, the awesome image was generated, right? Wallpaper for the cottage, and this is a kind of very realistic image got generated. Okay, perfect. So that's how you can easily build your own project and generate any number of images as you want, right? So this is the basic ones, and in our upcoming videos we'll also be adding some additional parameter, right? All these height, guidance, temperature, all these things will be giving on the interface, so that you have flexibility to run the images based on, after playing around with different parameters. Also we'll giving an option for adding some styles. So we'll have some options, like if you want to generate 3D style, realistic, or any other styles, that also using the interface only you can select, and you can generate the image based on the style that you select. So these all would be coming in my upcoming videos, so stay tuned. For this particular project, I'm not going to
upload it on Hugging Face, because it requires in any case on CPU the performance would not be good, and also it requires to have a big file to be downloaded. That's why I'm skipping that. However, if you want to do that, you know the process, right? I already have explained all the processes, and I have been doing that in my last eight projects, right? So you can follow the same process and you'll be able to upload it on Hugging Face. If you've stuck somewhere, or if you have any questions, you can comment on the video comment section, and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. With that, I'm ending today's video. If you like this video, please consider subscribing the channel or liking this particular video, or hit the like button. Happy learning. Thank you.